Tariq was not going to sit on the information about Lauren for too long. Effie is ready to go scorch earth. And Kane is plotting his next plan. What's good, y'all? It's your good sis Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV 2 with my first thoughts of episode number 6 from season 3 of Powerbook 2 Ghosts. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss out on any of my Powerbook 2 content, both here on Erica Vane TV 2 as well as on my main channel, Erica Vane TV, where I will be coming with a more detailed breakdown tomorrow. Got you on that, and I'm getting caught up, and it's a bunch of things that we need to talk about. So hit the subscribe button, jump down in the description box, click the link in the description box, and make sure you subscribe to the main channel too. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into this. And the first person I want to talk about in this episode is Effie. I literally have no sympathy for Effie Morales, like none at all. She has been lying and scheming since Choate. She has some redeemable qualities to her. It's they kind of been setting it up of like, oh, she's actually falling for Tariq and she's finally all in. It's just a little too late, a little too long, and we can't wait. Absolutely not. I'm really glad that Tariq did not drag his feet when it came to confronting her, even though at the top of this episode, he really is just like very solemn and distant, and she's picking up that there's something going on, but she don't know exactly what. It's not until he takes her in the Lambo truck. Tariq, where in the hell did you get the Lambo truck? You have been using your feet, beating your feet around campus up and down New York City, and then now all of a sudden you got BMWs and Lambo trucks, and you a poor college student, a poor college kingpin at that. Sir, just paint I want you to catch me on your forehead and go sit outside the DEA office. But I'm not supposed to be dragging you right now. I'm focused on Effie Morales. Tariq takes Effie in the Lambo truck back to the damn demolished lake, whatever the situation this little place is. However the hell Effie found the girl, I don't know. But he takes her back like, yo, tell me what happened here. Tell me what actually went down. And then she get the stuttering, I don't know what you're talking about. You know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. And he does this after he runs up on Brayden, which I thought was actually very, very brilliant. Seeing Tariq get busy with Brayden and like as soon as he came off of the elevator and like just had nothing but smoke and hands for him, I'm like, this is the reaction that I was definitely expecting, and he has to definitely be a little bit more calculated with Effie. I do believe that Tariq really does love Effie, which is what makes this whole thing worse. I think that he really got to a place where he really fully forgave her. He fully trusted her over everybody, and to be hit with the fact of like, I really could not trust you, and I almost made this mistake again, or actually I did make this mistake again, and now my girl almost died behind it. Yeah, hell to pay. Now, it's interesting how, I'm wondering how things are going to pan out from here, because Tariq confronts Effie, makes her walk her ass back to school, and then ultimately throws Brayden and Effie out of the business towards the top of the episode. And it takes Brayden trying to leverage the internship in Weston Holdings and revoking his access. Obi running down on him with the big black Negroes that think they looking inconspicuous in the damn subway, but clearly y'all are stalking his ass. And then Obi like, yo, y'all all need to be at every one of these meetings. Every single time we meet up, I need to see everybody's face because I don't trust what's actually going on. I'm also like, you watching a little bit too damn hard, sir. Do you not have nothing else to do with your time, with your energy? Because why are we following Tariq into the damn subway? Now, after the interaction with Obi, everybody's going to be on a tighter leash because Obi still does not believe that Tariq and his little friends were the ones that were right for the job. And this, to me, was a very subtle setup for like what's going to be infighting with Obi and Noma within their organization, because it's very clear that Noma is 100% fine with Tariq, and Obi has had an issue from the beginning. He has doubted it from the beginning, and with Tariq made a comment of like, I'm gonna talk to Noma. He's like, no, you ain't gonna tell her nothing. I'm like, why wouldn't he want him to be transparent? Because if this was a sanctioned stop, if this was something that Noma actually approved, she would already know about it, so it wouldn't be a big deal if Tariq brought it to her. and 2 would be in full support of. But the fact that Obi wants to keep it quiet, I feel like that was their subtle way of sneaking in, like, there's about to be, on the second half of the season, there's about to be a lot more happening with this whole London Connect. And there's been tons and tons of rumors about there potentially being a London-based spinoff within the Power universe. I know that we saw the cancellation of Lorenz Tate's or Rashad Tate's spinoff Influence, which should have been Powerbook 5. I feel like Noma and Obi and all of her world is definitely something that we could probably explore. And it's little moments like this, I'm like, yeah, they could definitely be setting up for a spinoff that loops in London or loops in a more international audience and talks about the international criminal enterprise. But back to this episode. So not Lauren. Effie needs to count her days. I have been saying that for quite a while. Tariq is never trusting her again. What interests me but also annoyed me the most about Effie in this episode was how quick she was able to switch up on Tariq. She was ready to ether the whole app. She was ready to go get Diana and like start up a whole new business and act like Tariq never even existed. She threw Brayden to the wayside and she was just there sitting all vulnerable like a little sheep with a wolf when Kane showed up at her dorm talking about he gonna slide her a couple bricks. Now don't get me wrong, seeing Tariq sleep with Diana, because Tariq is a menace, but we love him, right? We love him. I get how that could be very, very hurtful, but at its core, you killed his girlfriend and then lied about it. And then on numerous occasions was trying to tell him and then never told him. And then when he gave you the opportunity to tell him, you proceeded to tell him about how you have been essayed in the past and your other sob story when all he really wants is the truth behind this. And I truthfully believe after watching the entire episode play out that if she would have just come clean, it would have been so much easier for her and Tariq. Like, he might have been able to forgive her. He might have been able to move past it quicker if she would have offered up the information and he had to find it out on his own. But again, for me, I struggle with like, yes, technically y'all had broken up because he dropped your ass off and told you to walk your ass back home. But yes, he did sleep with Diana and y'all supposed to be a thing even if y'all going through something right now, but she just switched up way too quick. She was able to move on and be like, you know what, F this, way too quick. And I get it. She's little orphan Annie. She has detachment and abandonment issues. She never felt protected or whatever, but we have seen her over the course of 5 episodes really fall into a space of safety and stability with Tariq. So to watch her over the course of this one episode, which I think is about like maybe 2 days, her completely be able to abandon all of that comfort and safety and stability that she had been craving and finally received and not really be able to empathize to the betrayal and the disrespect that Tariq felt. I'm like, yo, Effie, you really were never really for him. Like, I wanted to buy into like you were actually falling in love with this man and you were actually going to be able to be loyal to this man. But this tell me that you were really never really down for him, because if you were, you would have been a lot more empathetic. And I think a great point to that is looking at Brayden, right? So Tariq gave Brayden and Effie pretty much the same treatment aside from beating aside from beating Brayden's ass, right? Like, he ain't put his hands on Effie, but he kicked both of them out the business and he cut off contact with them. And Brayden, even when he was pushed and the batteries put in his back by Kane to try to go and fight for his, he was very just empathetic and regretful and apologetic the entire time when interacting with Tariq. Every single time he had a conversation, he was like apologizing for it. He was reassuring that it would never happen again. And Effie just didn't have that energy. Part of it is like, okay, cool, you felt like you had to do it for business, but because you're supposed to be in love, baby girl, because you're supposed to be the only person that he could trust, because you're supposed to be solid as a damn rock, ain't no apologies coming, ain't no empathy, ain't no sincerity. Like, yeah, you're a snake in the grass and you've been found out. Congratulations. And you about to partner up with the other snake in the grass. And I love me some Kane, y'all, but he's about to be a whole hellion, because did anybody else notice how many times Kane wanted to say things in this episode, but he just decided to smirk and be quiet, smirk and stare? There was so many dramatic moments where Kane was like, and that's it. And I'm like, when Kane stopped talking, you know it's finna be hell to pay because he always got something to say and he always got something to prove. Even a little spat that we saw play out with him and Drew, I didn't really take that on too much because while Drew talking about he gonna take over and he coming to Monet about like, yeah, I'm gonna lead in Poppy's. Drew, there was a time that all you ever wanted was Everett and to be out and to go paint your little paintings and draw your little drawings and have your little love. And now all of a sudden you gotta avenge your father's death with some Russians that you don't even know did it, but you just hope that that's who did it so that you can go and do something because you just gotta do something. And now you want to definitely be the leader when you have been fighting claw and tooth and nail to separate yourself from the business and you just want to go to school and you like... Drew, I'm gonna need you to be for real. And you are still smashing your kissing cousin. Like, you are not kingpin material, and that's okay, babes. You have certain techniques and certain skills and certain resources and certain talents that come in handy when it's handy. And right now, you need to just go ahead and step aside. I am very curious as to what the trajectory is going to be for the Tejada family moving forward, because I personally am rooting for Kane to lead, but nobody wants to let him actually fully lead or don't want to fall in line and let him do his damn thing. I think Monet is becoming unhinged, and I don't trust her to lead the family. Of course, Diane ain't gonna be able to do a damn thing. And Drew, I don't trust him either. This feels like the beginning of the end for the Tejada family, and I loved at the very end of the episode that Monet and her becoming unhinged is starting to have hallucinations of Lorenzo. Lorenzo ass is about to haunt Monet, and I'm here for it because while he should not have killed Zeke, and it was one of the dumbest things that he ever could have done, she acted way too quickly in having him killed. We also got to see this play out in the preview, which I'm doing a preview video on my Erica Vane TV channel, breaking down what to expect for next episode. But like, Gordo was going to start to use this and dangle this over her head, and like, that is going to be the worst thing that could possibly happen for Monet. If these kids find out that you had their father killed, you didn't necessarily have to pull the trigger, but you had their father killed, it is over for you. It's a wrap for you, Monet. And I'm looking forward to seeing that whole, like, all of that fallout happen. Now, back to Tariq real quick, because in this episode, we also get to see him put Estelle into witness protection. Or not necessarily see that happen, but we know that's what's going to happen because he doesn't wind up showing up for the meetup after Obi snatches him up. They have an interesting moment at the gravesite because they're both visiting Rainey at the same time, and he's complaining to Rainey about not being able to trust nobody. This is before he actually is able to confront Effie and all of that. And Estelle walks up and then she reads him for Phil, says he's just like his father and he's the problem and all of this, and like creates a very convincing argument of him needing to go ahead and get out the game. And I'm like, okay, maybe he is, but I didn't actually think he was going to do it then. So even when he was going to go meet up with Estelle and Obi intercepted him, I was just like, well, maybe he just giving her some money or doing something because he out here renting Lambos and I-8s and whatnot. So maybe he is just doing that. I think it's interesting that they made the decision to have Estelle put in protective custody with Tasha and his younger sister. I can't remember that girl name right now. Because now it's like completely all of his family. He has no family that he actually has access to. And honestly, y'all, I am of the camp that Ghost ain't dead. And when this return happens, it's going to be lit. With every character that gets like sent away and ushered away, I'm just like, this is just a setup. This is just a setup for Ghost's big ass comeback, and it's going to be hell to pay. Let me have my fantasies and my dreams. You don't need to come and try to bust it in the comment section if you one of those who believe that Ghost is actually dead, because I don't, and you're not gonna be able to convince me. Don't try. What else happened in this episode? The funeral, but I already touched on that. Like, Russians, I get that you need to get your get back, but you gonna go and shoot up a funeral? I mean, I guess you don't know that there's a DEA officer in here, there's a district attorney in here, a former state's attorney in here, defense attorney up in here. Like, the way they let them bullets fly with all these other people, not just civilians, but like law enforcement, they gave 0 Fs. And the way that the Tejadas returned fire as if those people weren't in there and they know that, is like wild to me. That was a very interesting action scene. But yeah, y'all, I think that's pretty much it. That's all I have like first thoughts about. Again, I'm going to do a full in-depth breakdown on Erica Vane TV, my main channel, linked in the description box down below, as well as the cards above. Now it's your turn. Let me know what you thought about the episode. What were your first impressions? What are you predicting for next week? Drop all that in the comment section down below. It's your good sis, you let us talk TV with, and I'm going to see you in my next video.